Coming in from the Congress party as far as the statement is concerned. Let's put that out for you. As far as US doubling down on the waiver claim is concerned, the Congress party has cited this remark and they have slammed the government. Again asking, are we waiting for the permission by the United States as far as the oil waiver is concerned? So that has been the stand of the Congress party. They repeated the same thing yesterday. They have repeated it now as well. And it's regarding a post that has been put out by the Congress party. And then once again, they're asking, should we be getting permission from the United States to buy the Russian oil? In fact, that's a social media post that has been put out by the Congress party. After, remember, a post has been put out by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. We took you through that social media post in which he's saying that India has been a good ally and now US has permitted India to buy the Russian oil only for 30 days. Consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary. Good morning, Srinjoy. Now, as far as politics is concerned, keeping that aside, take us through the statements that have come in from the United States as far as the oil waiver is concerned, because yesterday the Treasury Secretary said that India has been allowed. Today he has said that India has been permitted to buy the Russian oil. Put this into context.
India does not need permission from anybody, from any country, to buy or sell whatever it wants to buy or sell. That's actually the bottom line. Now the Americans say that they're permitted. What they've done is as follows. Number one, India was buying Russian oil. And at that time, the Americans said that, well, if India is buying Russian oil, this helps to keep oil prices at a reasonably good level. And then if India is buying Russian oil, refining it, and exporting it to America, then America will see it as Indian oil. These were the American positions. Then the American position changed, and the Americans began to say that India is helping Russia to fight the Ukraine war by buying Russian oil. And that continued for a long time. Tariff levels were raised to 50%, the highest for any country, leave alone a partner country. Then, of course, there were sanctions on 2 Russian firms. Now, the Indians who were buying the oil were actually private sector firms. And they didn't want to be sanctioned in the way that the Russians have been sanctioned, these 2 Russian firms, which is why they've stopped buying Russian oil. That was the 3rd stage. Fourthly, what happened was as follows. The war broke out, and India depends on 80% imports of crude oil. America now says that we have permitted India to buy Russian oil because there are all these tankers floating around and they can supply India with the oil. The point is, if India needs to buy Russian oil or oil from anywhere else, from Canada, for is one possibility now that these agreements have been done, India does not need permission from anybody.
Absolutely. And back in India, politics has started with the Congress party saying, why do we need permission from the US to buy the Russian oil? A clarification has also come in from the government on that. And now we have a reaction coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Stay on with us, Srinjoy. They have cited UPA government's action in 2012, where they claim that then government actually cut down the oil imports from Iran on the instruction of the US. The BJP maintains that Modi government has always taken decision in the national interest and has urged the opposition not to use the issue to score political brownie points. Have a look at what BJP is saying on this.
भारत या भारत सरकार को ऐसे राजनीतिक दल से कोई सलाह की आवश्यकता नहीं है। जो राजनीतिक दल संप्रभुता को लेके या राष्ट्रीय हितों को लेके उसे कोई परवाह ही नहीं। उनके सवाल केवल राजनीतिक है, ना उसमें कुछ राष्ट्रीय हित की बात है, ना उसमें संप्रभुता की बात है। जहां तक नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार है, स्वयं प्रधान सेवक के रूप में जो वो काम कर रहे हैं, वो भारत के हित के लिए और संप्रभुता के लिए हर कदम उठाएंगे। राजनीतिक दल जो कांग्रेस पार्टी जो कहना चाहती है वो कहती रहेगी।
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने बार बार ये स्पष्ट किया कि भारत के हितों के साथ कभी भी कोई समझौता नहीं होगा और ये खाली केवल उनका कहना नहीं है, उन्होंने ये करके दिखाया है। और वर्तमान में जो युद्ध चल रहा है, उस युद्ध से तेल को लेकर के जो आशंकाएं प्रकट की जा रही हैं, मुझे लगता है कि वो पूर्ण रूप से निर्मूल है, निराधार है। देश में पर्याप्त मात्रा में तेल का भंडार है, कहीं किसी प्रकार से कोई फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं है। भारत अपने फैसले स्वयं लेता है, ये बात हम सब जानते हैं।
But now the bigger question is this really a U.S. oil waiver, or is this a U-turn by the United States? Let's take you through the Donald Trump's, the U.S. president's flip-flop on Russian oil. The man who warned India of tariffs over buying Russian oil is now asking India to buy Russian oil to enable oil to keep flowing into the global markets. Here's a look at what he said earlier and the flip-flops over the last few months.
Modi is a great man. That he loves Trump, and he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. Well, India is not going to be buying Russian oil anymore. India will not be buying oil from Russia. They've already de-escalated, and they've more or less stopped. They're pulling back. India, as you know, has told me they are stop. You know, it's a process. You can't just stop it, but by the end of the year, they'll be down to almost nothing.
For more on this, let me go across to my colleague Shivam, who's been tracking all the reactions coming in from the political parties. Good morning, Shivam. The opposition, the Congress party mainly, they are saying, why do we need permission from the US to buy the Russian oil? Because US has been using terms like permitted, allowed as far as the oil waiver is concerned. What has been the response of the government so far?
Exactly, Anasha. The government has initially called it a diplomatic win. What the government and what the BJP is trying to say is that the priority of the BJP government is that India gets the needed petroleum products, the needed fuel at the earliest and at the cheapest price. And this is one of those diplomatic wins of the government of India, that now they will be able to get the Russian oil on a much cheaper rate. However, on the opposition side, they are also focusing on the tone in which the statement came from the United States side, that whether India was actually permitted to do that, and how can US influence India's, or how can US on their part decide from where India will buy the oil and from where it will not. Remember, earlier also Rahul Gandhi, in one of his speech, also said that it will be US who will be responsible to tell from where India needs to get the oil and India needs to get these petroleum products. And that time as well, the opposition was trying to put harsh steps against, ask critical questions to the current regime. And this is what they are doing now. They are saying that how come now at this crucial time the government is still silent or not responding to the kind of offensive and aggressive remark coming in from the United States, that they are saying that they have permitted India or they have allowed India to buy this oil. What the US is saying, that despite their allowance, Russia will not get a lot of benefit because this particular oil is already stranded in the sea. But again, the Congress and the opposition parties is questioning the silence of the current regime in India.
Absolutely, Shivam. In fact, on the other hand, BJP has maintained that the Modi government has always taken decision in the national interest and has urged the opposition, mainly the Congress party, not to use the issue to score the political brownie points. Thank you so much, Shivam, for getting us all those details. We are taking a very short break. We'll be right back with more news and updates on the other side.